My 22 female sister, Alexis, 30, has a daughter, Melanie, preteen, whose birthday was last week. I was out of town on the actual day of her birthday, but came the next day with Melanie's present. Since my niece loves the beach and always wants to look at or touch my seashell collection, I gave her seashells so she could start her own collection. Melanie immediately demanded more, not in a playful or joking way. Melanie didn't even say thank you for the gift. I was taken aback by this, but I still told Melanie that those shells were it for now and that she could get more seashells in the future by saving up her pocket money or waiting for Christmas. Melanie threw a tantrum. She dumped the shells on the floor and broke a large one after she stomped on it. Alexis wasn't doing anything to intervene in the situation. Melanie eventually calmed down and became upset when she realized she had broken the large shell. Alexis asked me to replace the shell since it was Melanie's birthday, but I refused, and Melanie cried. Alexis pulled me into another room, and we started arguing. Alexis told me I was being an idiot to my niece because my niece is a little girl. Of course she's going to act like a brat sometimes, and I was no angel either when I was little. She argued how seashells are cheap where we live, and it's courtesy to replace a broken gift instead of ruining a pretween's birthday. I agreed with Alexis that I acted up when I was little, but stopped because I was taught right from wrong and wasn't rewarded for bad behavior. I told Alexis that I would not reward Melanie for throwing a tantrum and that she was the one who ruined her birthday by not teaching her daughter to be more grateful. Alexis told me to leave, and we've barely talked since last week. But I saw earlier today on social media that Alexis took Melanie to a crafts fair and bought her new seashells there. She posted a picture and captioned it, saying, "Who could be so selfish that they wouldn't want to see her, Melanie, smile for her birthday?" and tagged only me in it. I think refusing to replace the broken shell was the appropriate thing to do in that situation, but Alexis's social media post has gotten a lot of likes and comments on it, and it seems a lot more people are taking Alexis's side than mine, saying money's replaceable, but memories are not, and the only important thing on a little girl's birthday is to make sure they're happy. Am I the idiot? I have a 10 and 13-year-old, and I would have been mortified if they had acted that way, let alone at 8. You are not the idiot. Your sister is raising a monster. Do yourself a favor and avoid the social media wars. Remove the tag from the post and don't give the reactions from people who don't know what happened a second thought. The people siding with your sister can pay to replace the broken gifts. I wouldn't give that child anything else. I disagree. Sister needs to be called out for her and her little brat's behavior publicly since she wants to put you on blast. I would have responded with, well, if she hadn't thrown a tantrum because she demanded, not asked, for more shells, then proceeded to stomp on the ones she received, then she wouldn't have needed new shells to replace the original. I will not acquiesce to demands because her mother failed to parent her properly. Your sister fired the first shot, so I would return the fire. There's a 4,000% chance that Alexis has not been telling the truth. Her child is going to be a monster. Alexis knows better, but clearly, Melanie doesn't. Tell Melanie you won't be getting her any more gifts until she apologizes for her bad behavior, behaves more respectfully in response to generosity, and shows she can take care of things. You'll have to repeat this several times and on several occasions before she gets it, most likely. Stick to your guns and keep saying no to your sister. She'll call you when her daughter's a major troublemaker later in life. It's going to be funny for you. My girlfriend, female 27, and I, male 27, have been dating for 5 years now, and things have been perfect. The number one thing I love about her is her selflessness towards her loved ones. She also doesn't demand the finer things due to her selflessness, but I always try to spoil her regardless. My girlfriend is not a vain person, but she has insecurity about her tendency to develop some small pimples on her cheeks and chin during her period. It never bothers me, but she hates them. Well, about 9 months ago, we planned an international trip together. I wanted to give her a romantic proposal since she always does so much for everyone else. I had arranged for a candlelit dinner near a famous landmark at the destination. Afterward, we would walk over to a gazebo and I would propose. I had booked the dinner and even hired a photographer. Fast forward to the actual trip, and something we hadn't accounted for was her menstrual cycle. Unfortunately, 2 days before my planned proposal, it arrived. She said she felt bloated, but otherwise we could still enjoy those days of the trip. However, she did develop some pimples. While walking around town the morning of the proposal, she said to me teasingly, "Please don't propose while I'm covered in pimples." I played along and laughed, but I felt my heart racing. I faked playfulness and said, "Over a few pimples?" And she got a little more serious, saying she wasn't sure if I planned on doing it during the trip, but she didn't want such a romantic moment to have a blemish. I tried to push back without revealing my plan, but I could tell she was sincere and could see her insecurity taking over. I had no idea what to do, but I didn't want to create resentment in her over what was supposed to be her fairy tale moment, so I canceled all but the dinner. Admittedly, the rest of the trip had a weird vibe, despite my best efforts. When we got home, we finally addressed the weird vibe. I came clean and told her about my plan. I even made sure to tell her I wasn't upset. Not entirely true. After I told her, her eyes welled up, and she said she was sorry for ruining my plan. However, she mentioned that I should have never told her about this, because she's now going to carry this guilt forever. Her words, since that was the primary purpose for taking an expensive international trip together. I always thought being open was right, but now I feel awful for creating guilt inside of her. I do also feel upset about the plan being squashed by something that could be photoshopped, but I'm trying to respect her insecurities. Also, the last thing I want to do right now is pile on her guilt. Was it dumb to come clean? Not the idiot. She needed to know to work on her insecurities. She ruined what could have been one of the best memories you ever had together because of a few pimples. She told you not to propose, which led you not to propose. It created a weird vibe that needed to be addressed. I don't know what the perfect response would have been, but now that it's happened, you can only deal with what's in front of you now. Yeah, neither one of you are idiots. You know you want to marry this girl. Sure, it's a bummer your plan didn't work as you wanted, but you still had an amazing trip with someone you love. It would have been cute if you proposed right there when she got upset when you told her. A storybook romantic proposal in a gazebo is amazing, but at the end of the day, the point of that was to show love. I think she's a bit of an idiot. She obviously knew he was going to propose on this very expensive trip. They had been talking about it, and she brought it up on her own. So she intentionally chose her weird little insecurity over the big romantic plan that had been in the works for a while. Then she wanted to know why the vibe was off. Now she's guilting him for being honest. He's emotionally upset that his plan was ruined, yet he can't even share that with her because she'll make him feel even more guilty. Here I am just conjecturing, but I half expect that when he does propose next, she's going to guilt him that it wasn't on a super fancy extravagant trip like the first one was. I, male 29, am a dirtbag. I fully acknowledge this. I have zero interest in a commitment or steady relationship. However, I love my family, and I join them on vacation whenever possible. I love seeing my parents and my sisters. My older sister, 37, has a teen son. He's awesome. He's smart, cool, and athletic. Everything I wasn't when I was his age. My folks' anniversary was last weekend, and we all got together. I arranged for my own room since I didn't need to have my parents pay my way. When I got there, my sister asked if my nephew could stay in my room so she and my brother-in-law could have some alone time. I said no. I paid for my room and I was planning on enjoying it. I offered to pay for his room, but she said she didn't want him alone. I said tough crap, because my room would have as much debauchery as I could arrange. She said I was disgusting and should be happy that she allowed her son around someone as low as me. Whatever. I paid for an extra room and told her he could stay with me. I saw my folks and we all had a blast together. My nephew had a room to himself for 3 nights, and he enjoyed the family vacation. My sister found out on the last day, when we were checking out, that I had defied her and let the kid have fun. She says I'm a scumbag and a bad influence on her son. She went nuts when I pointed out that I hadn't yet knocked up a 19-year-old, unlike her 45-year-old husband. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your sister just straight up didn't arrange or pay for accommodation for her son, then complains when you do. She hasn't really got a leg to stand on here. Plus, she's being a hypocrite. So, she's allowed alone time, but no one else is? LOL, no. Gotta admit, your parting shot made me laugh. Probably not a sensible thing to argue over, but very justified. Yeah, that parting comment was beautifully savage. If I'd been at that checkout desk, there's no way I could have kept a straight face. She called him every name in the book, but he destroyed her with the one-liner. Also, hate how parents drop off their kids with single or younger people without any permission or consideration for others in the guise of bonding time. Dude, you were polite and explained you wanted your own room. Besides, what teen boy wants to share a room with their uncle for a trip? This boy's probably very thankful that you even paid for it. If she's going to be rude, ask for your money back that you spent on her son. Also, please keep being the cool uncle. Later on in life, when crap goes down, he's going to come running to you and not them. I will get it out and say, I don't like homeschooling. I think it's almost impossible to do correctly on social and educational development. This is coming from someone that went to a crappy public school. So my sister was talking about homeschooling her kid, and she said she and her husband would teach her. My sister and her husband are not the brightest people, much more physically labor people than understanding math. I tried to ask if that was a good idea, but she basically asked, how hard could it be? So I started quizzing her, and these were not hard questions. For example, I asked what a verb was, to name the planets, and to do a simple math problem. I literally asked her to do division. She could only name a few planets, and she gave the definition for an adjective, not a verb, and also just completely wrong with the math. It was kind of sad. She can't divide. 60 divided by 5 is not hard. If she can't do basic math, how's she going to teach? How's the kid going to read? These are easy questions. I told her the right answer and asked if she couldn't do it, how will she teach the kid how to read or do math? She called me a jerk and left to cry. Her husband is on my butt, but my mom thinks it's a blessing. Am I the idiot? I'm questioning myself. You are the idiot, and many don't understand how homeschooling works. You're the curriculum facilitator using books, computer programs, and other external resources created by professionals. Standards are met and tested for, and even college credits are obtainable. You don't need to be knowledgeable in every subject to properly guide your kid through a curriculum. Yeah, but OP's sister isn't just knowledgeable in every subject. She lacks the most basic knowledge imaginable in every subject. She couldn't divide 60 by 5. Not the idiot. Some people need a reality check once in a while. She's not equipped enough to properly educate her child for the world if she doesn't even know basic elementary school level concepts. Sure, there are online tools, but what happens when the child needs help understanding a concept? Just show them tons of YouTube or Khan videos and hope that answers their question? They're setting their kid up to fail. If your sister is as lacking in knowledge as you say, then by all means, shame her out of educationally neglecting her children, if that's what it takes to turn her off the idea. I don't know when society started to decide that a group of Facebook parents with no common sense between them could take over highly trained professional roles like teaching, the homeschool movement, and healthcare. Stick some essential oils and half an onion on your child. But wow, it's getting old, watching children suffering the consequences for that level of parents' arrogance and stupidity. I, female 24, recently moved in with my boyfriend. Let's call him John, 24. John is from India and moved to the US for college and now work. We live in his apartment in New York City, but I've noticed a weird issue over the past few months since I moved in. While John's family is based in India, several of his family members have shifted to New York City in the past couple of years for school, work, etc. About 5 of them live in the city. I'm unsure of his specific relationship with each of them, but he treats them all like siblings, despite an age range of 18 to 32 between the 5 of them, with none of them being his real sibling. The problem began when I realized his family members just show up to the apartment whenever they feel like it. They all have keys and come in and out throughout the week. Sometimes randomly stay the night in the guest room, come over to watch TV, or make some food, even when John and I are not home, etc. This was incredibly jarring for me because it felt like there was no privacy left to be within the house when all these people could just come in, borrow things, use the apartment, and leave. It's not that they made a mess or broke things, but they were just using our apartment as their own. Yesterday, I had come, and one of his younger sisters, around 19, was cooking something in the kitchen. Having had a long, tiring day, I just wanted to come home to a silent, quiet apartment to relax in. Upset at the noise and the smell, I asked her why she thought she just had the random right to come into our apartment whenever she feels like it and use whatever she wanted. She didn't reply but looked extremely offended, which irked me. I asked her to get out of the house, and she did, muttering things under her breath at me in Hindi, a language I don't understand. That night, John came home and asked me why I had been so mean to his sister and kicked her out of the house. I said I was sick and tired of them coming over, and from now on they were not allowed in the house without letting us know beforehand. John said I was being a massive idiot to his family and disrespecting what they provide for us and his duty to provide for them. We haven't talked since, and he slept on the couch last night. I don't think I was in the wrong, but John is really upset. So, am I the idiot? Edit. John and I discussed this to the extent that he said my family was going to be in and out pretty often before I moved in. You are the idiot. This is a cultural issue. He was completely honest and open about this from the start, but you didn't think to voice your discomfort at the time. Now you've been rude to his family and are expecting to change the dynamics to suit you. You need to actually talk to him and together discuss what you both want. You make a new plan and you learn to live with it, or you break up. Also, you are the idiot for yelling at the sister who has full permission to be there, instead of talking to your boyfriend about wanting more privacy in your apartment. The poor girl was cooking alone, not having a party. Like, did you ever mention it to him before snapping at someone else? Also, didn't you realize his family always came over before you moved in? Totally disagree. We don't do that crap in India. The boyfriend's family is strange. If I go to my sibling's house to do random crap, unannounced, I'll be kicked out. Not the idiot, and break up with him. This issue won't be resolved, and you've fundamentally different views on family boundaries. Better to walk away and find someone who isn't so enmeshed with their family. Yeah, I agree. This isn't really him being an Indian, but rather having no boundaries. Source: I was born and raised in India. The boyfriend and his family will never agree to any boundaries set by OP. They will keep on walking all over her. The boyfriend's family will never have any respect for OP, her home, or her privacy. And of course, the boyfriend will never defend her to his family. Better to break up sooner than later.